So we're testing the motor here. It's a little bit noisy. Plus, there's play in the bushing. Plus, if you look across this plane, you can see that this mount is bent this way, and this mount is bent this way. That means that if we bolt this up, the gear is going to be binding somewhat, and that play right there is not going to help the situation. So we're going to replace this motor. Okay, so here's our bad motor. I mean, it runs, but it's warped and a loose bushing. Now, from my stock, here's what looks like an identical motor, but it doesn't have the pigtail. So to use this version, you'd have to cut and splice. Or we use the later 123 motor, which is a direct replacement, although it looks different. The important thing is the number of teeth, the diameter, and the offset. As you can see, these are the same. Okay, we've found a motor. Now we need to fix this regulator. It's supposed to be in one plane flat. What I do is use a piece of heavy steel and a cutting torch and cut out reliefs for the regulator. As you can see, all this stuff protrudes through so that I can slowly heat this frame and clamp it down slowly as I heat it. I'm going to put a little weight here, make sure this thing doesn't upend on me, and then we're going to start applying some pressure. You don't want to bend it all at once. You want to get some pressure on it. And then I use a butane torch. Get it warm. Tighten it up some more. Okay, so we've heated this up and slowly made our clamps tighter. Then I drenched it with water to cool it down. And now look what we have. We have a nice flat frame. So now the motor teeth are going to properly engage. Now, why does this get bent? What happens is, this is fairly malleable. This is die-cast zinc aluminum. And when you run your window all the way up on a hot day, it actually puts some tweak pressure on this frame. And then the day cools down, and this is slightly bent. And then the next time you run your window down and back up, it's going to bend it a little bit more and a little bit more until the teeth don't line up because this frame is so bent. Okay, I put a wire around it here so that as I bolt the motor up, it's actually meshed with the teeth. And once the motor is on, bolted on, I'm going to remove this wire because, again, this is a spring-loaded mousetrap. Due to this spring right here, its function is to help the window go up. And now we've got a motor that is quieter. You can hardly hear it. And we're testing it here. Functions very nice and smooth. The next thing is to grease it. So I use just regular wheel bearing grease. And you want to put a little bit on this gear. You don't have to really get all the way on it up where it's hidden because it's going to distribute the grease once you run the motor up and down. Also, I grease this spring so that it functions a little bit better because it winds and unwinds, so it rubs against all the surfaces, and if that's lubed, it just makes your regulator work smoother and last longer.